And I would like now to address you in this moment, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have reached the end of an extraordinary journey. We have adopted the Ljubljana, the Hague Convention on International Cooperation in the investigation and prosecution of the crime of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other international crimes. This moment marks a significant milestone in a decade-long pursuit of ensuring justice and accountability. In this convention, we have laid out the foundations for an unprecedented level of cooperation between states. We have recognized the imperative to bridge legal systems, harmonize standards, and strengthen mechanisms for investigation and prosecution. Through this convention, we affirm that no perpetrator, regardless of their position or influence, will find safe haven from justice. We send a clear message to those who perpetrate these heinous crimes that impunity will not prevail. However, let us not forget that our work does not end with the adoption of this convention. Its true impact lies in its implementation, in the commitments and actions we undertake beyond this conference hall. It is incumbent upon us to translate the spirit and provisions of this convention into tangible and lasting change. As we conclude this diplomatic conference, let us take a moment to express our gratitude and my gratitude to all those who have contributed to this great achievement. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to, first of all of you distinguished delegates, dedicated experts, legal practitioners, international and civil society organizations who have shared their experiences and insights here. In particular, I would like to thank and commend the huge work undertaken by the chair of the drafting committee, Mr. René Feber, and the members of this committee for their extraordinary, thorough, and very hard work. We thank you very much. I would also like to thank the tireless efforts of all the coordinators of working groups, Mr. Vaios Koutroulis, coordinator of Working Group 1, Ms. Erika Lucero, coordinator of Working Group 2, and Mr. Mateusz Pestirch, coordinator of Working Group 3. And of course, I would like to thank them for chairs and coordinators, but also all those who worked as part of their teams in a great effort to contribute to the success of these working groups. You really, with your hard work, you have allowed us to break the deadlocks in negotiations and reach compromises in sometimes extremely difficult provisions and contexts. So we thank you very much for that. I would also like to express my deepest appreciation to our extremely competent, committed, and hard work Chief Legal Advisor, Ms. Christian Bouloyanis. With her huge expertise and hard work, she has provided an extraordinary contribution to this conference and support to the Bureau and myself. I thank you for that. And I would also would like to thank Ms. Quirijn van Stralen, special advisor to me. I thank her for her amazing support during the conference, but also before, in the months that paved the way to this extraordinary moment. I would also like to thank the Secretary General of this conference, Mr. Marko Rakovic. He has held us all together here with his extraordinary legal and diplomatic skills, his patience, and his humor. So I thank you very much for that. And lastly, I would like to thank the Secretariat of the conference for all their huge administrative and logistical support, including in the distribution and management of all the documents this conference has produced. And a special thank to them and to all the support staff, the translators, the interpreters, the technical staff who have worked diligently behind the scenes to make this conference a resounding success. So thank you to all of you. And now I shall invite Her Excellency Ms. Tanja Fajon, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign and European Affairs of Slovenia, to address this conference in the name of the core group of the MLA initiative.
Good evening, everyone. Dober večer. Sincere congratulations. Excellent work. We are very proud of all of us, and today is a truly remarkable, historic moment. Dober večer vsem skupaj. Hvala vsem za izjemno delo, za zgodovinski dosežek. Ponosna sem na vse nas, na Slovenijo, ki je gostila ta izjemen dogodek. In vsem nam želim veliko dobrega sodelovanja in uspeha. So, let me allow to say briefly a few words, because I believe that you are extremely tired and you are looking forward to the nice reception and the pleasant evening in our capital. It's my, of course, great pleasure. It's a great honor to stand here tonight at this podium again to celebrate with you this very successful conclusion of the MLA Diplomatic Conference and to welcome the new Ljubljana and The Hague Convention. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to Slovenia's partners in the core group of states, Argentina, Belgium, Mongolia, the Netherlands and Senegal, for their remarkable cooperation and friendship. On this note, I'm honored to convey to you the closing remarks on behalf of the core group. Ladies and gentlemen, on the behalf of this group, I want to sincerely thank all the participants of the MLA conference for your tireless work and valuable contributions. It is only due to your unparalleled dedication that it was possible to ensure smooth and constructive negotiations, an adoption process of such an important and complex international instrument. Without your commitment, expertise and political will of your countries, the decade-long efforts of the core group to promote and raise awareness about the importance of the MLA initiative would be in vain. Dear colleagues, the adoption of Ljubljana, the Hague MLA Convention, in such a short spell of time is a truly incredible, I'm tempted to say, historical achievement. and it will significantly enhance the cooperation among all states parties and importantly contribute to the promotion of the rule of law and the fight against impunity at the global level. The Convention will allow the whole international community to stay true to its commitment to the principle of accountability by closing the existing immunity gap. There is a growing and vital importance of enhanced cooperation among states and the necessary support for existing global accountability mechanisms. And fight against impunity is our common fight, in which we must stand together and put the principle of complementarity into practice. The Convention will facilitate mutual legal assistance in criminal investigations, asset recovery, extradition, and other international legal matters. It is a truly great example of global modernization efforts by incorporating provisions that will allow us to address the various contemporary challenges in cross-border law enforcement. The purpose at the heart of the Convention is to provide a legal basis for judicial cooperation to simplify and expedite the process of obtaining and providing legal assistance. It will reduce bureaucratic hurdles and ensure timely cooperation. And with Ljubljana, the Hague Convention, we are transforming our words "never again" into concrete action, with the national authorities much better equipped to deny perpetrators of atrocity crimes safe haven. Esteemed delegates, we must never forget that we are doing it for every single victim that has ever been subject to the most unimaginable horrors. And ladies and gentlemen, just please allow me to make just a few brief remarks also in my national capacity. The adoption of Ljubljana, the Hague Convention, is a remarkable achievement that will resonate far beyond this conference hall. And as I said 11 days ago here, this is the first diplomatic conference that Slovenia has been hosting. And it really means so much to us. And to me personally, that its success is resonating with Slovenia's long-standing and firm commitment to the international law, justice, and accountability. And Slovenia was delighted and honored to host this conference. I hope that we have made you all feel welcome and that you are aware of our utmost respect and gratitude for your work at the conference. And I would like to thank first and foremost to all the participating delegates and to all the teams in the capitals. My highest appreciation goes to all the conference officials and especially to the judge, Silvia Fernandez de Gurmendi, as the chair of the conference. Her extensive experience and expertise and her personal engagement all these days and time before were an important building block for the success of the conference. And of course, hat off to the often hidden but always indispensable team, as we heard before, of interpreters and translators. You make the term international understanding a reality. So I wish you good luck, safe travels home, and I hope that Slovenia will always stay in your fond memory. Thank you. Hvala lepa.
I thank Her Excellency Ms. Fajon for her statement and now invite Her Excellency Ms. Dominika Schwarz-Pipan, Minister of Justice of Slovenia, to take the floor.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and may I say, dear colleagues, this is a happy moment. It is a moment filled with hope, gratitude, and for all international lawyers, such as myself as well, it is a vastly overwhelming moment. I'm rarely lost for words, but right now I feel like I'm a little bit shaking almost. I cannot imagine how you feel, dear delegates, dear participants of this conference, at the end of a process that lasted over a decade, sitting here, having done all the hard work, the negotiations, concluding compromises, and hopefully some friendships as well. You finally reached a moment for celebration. And let's hope that there will be many more in the future as this convention will be implemented in practice and bring results for those for whom it is intended. I have had the opportunity to address you twice before at this conference. I had never imagined as a young international lawyer that one day I'll be addressing such a conference as a minister of a state. And that makes it that more overwhelming. And I have said many words before in those two speeches, and I'm having a trouble saying something new on the third occasion. But of course, I cannot overstate how grateful we are to all of you, dear delegates, all participants, everybody that's helped make this conference and the adopted draft convention a reality. It is an important message that this MLA Convention is sending globally. It is an outstanding achievement, signaling that we can stand united in our efforts to safeguard human rights, human dignity, and the rule of law, and that we intend to cooperate further with the aim of ending impunity on a global scale. I'm particularly honored to be able to emphasize this message in the presence of the Ukrainian Deputy Minister of Justice, Irina Mudra, and of course, the representatives of all other countries from different parts of the world whose people have tragically experienced the horrors of the crimes of aggression, the crimes against humanity, war crimes, or even genocide, the darkest of all crimes. As Minister Fayon has already stated on behalf of the MLA Core Group, it is our joint commitment and dedication and efforts that have rendered fruit. So, again, it cannot be overstated how grateful we are, and we congratulate you sincerely on this amazing, amazing result. So thank you for working together to show the ability to collaborate and for contributing greatly to our common efforts to make the world a better place one step at a time. By establishing international cooperations and mutual legal assistance in the investigation and prosecution of the crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other international crimes, the MLA Convention now affords us a truly global cooperation mechanism, a global common framework, and thereby closing the gap that we have struggled with in the past. Esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again and congratulations. Please celebrate this moment, although I believe the reality of it will take a while to sink in. Thank you again and have a great evening.
I thank Her Excellency Ms. Varch Pipan for her intervention. And next, I would like to invite the representatives of other members of the core group to present their statement. And the first one to present their statement is Argentina.
Muchas gracias, señora Presidenta.
Thank you very much, Madam President.
En primer lugar,
Firstly, I'd like to express our thanks for the commitment and work of the members of the core group over more than 10 years. It's been a great pleasure to share this process with the Netherlands, Belgium, Slovenia, Mongolia, and Senegal. We'd also like to express our thanks particularly to Slovenia for hosting this diplomatic conference so warmly and efficiently. would also like to acknowledge in particular on behalf of Argentina your work, Madam President, your commitment and leadership during the process prior to, in the consultations and during this conference, which has allowed us to achieve a successful conclusion. For Argentina, it's some grounds for pride to have been part of the core group with the view to achieve the noble goal of improving cooperation between states in investigating and trying international crimes. We've always been aware of the importance of conveying not just the voice of Argentina, but also of Latin America, and at the same time of ensuring that this process of negotiations be inclusive in the same way that the convention must be universal. We can say today that the MLA initiative is a tangible text, which we can finally call a convention. After fruitful negotiations, we're pleased to note that it's a result which reflects a clear and shared language, which allows us to build solid bridges between different legal and regional traditions, to strengthen the mechanisms for interstate cooperation, and consequently to improve and smooth access to legal protection in the search for justice, and similarly to guarantee the rights of victims of international crime. This convention restates the conviction that states are the main actors responsible for investigating and trying the perpetrators of international crimes, and hence there must be no impunity for the serious violations of human rights in all its criminal manifestations. The Republic of Argentina has experience in trying and investigating with safeguards for due process for those who perpetrate international crime. This experience has motivated us to continue working to improve cooperation mechanisms between states, and this convention is resounding proof of this. We are confident that this convention will be an essential and modern tool in the fight against impunity for these horrific crimes, and it's a major landmark for international legal cooperation in criminal matters. It's the first multilateral instrument with these characteristics. Our country has had as its guide throughout this process the words "never again," uttered by Argentine prosecutor Julio Stracera, which are now part of the heritage of the international community. And without any doubt, this convention is an essential contribution to restating these words. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Argentina.
Thank you very much, Argentina.
I invite a representative of Belgium to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to congratulate and to thank wholeheartedly all the delegations who have worked so diligently and constructively towards this result. A special thanks goes out to you, Madam President, to the members of the Bureau, the coordinators of the working groups, the drafting committee, the Secretariat, the translators, and of course to our Secretary General Marco and his team for organizing this conference, and to Slovenia for hosting us in beautiful Ljubljana. This has been a Herculean effort, and this truly global group of countries has just adopted a landmark treaty in the fight against impunity. Today we have shown once more that violations of international humanitarian law cannot go unpunished. Genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity and other international crimes cannot go unpunished. As a member of the core group, Belgium was one of the founding members of this MLA initiative, which will enable states parties to the future convention to effectively discharge their primary responsibility, which is to investigate these crimes and prosecute their perpetrators at the national level. As the depository of this convention, my country remains actively committed to this project. Let me also thank the members of the Belgian delegation who have worked so hard during the last weeks, or very energetic coordinator of Group 1, Professor Vaios Koutroulis, but also the other members of the team from the Belgian Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Justice who have supported this initiative over the past weeks, but also over the past years. And I would like to conclude with a message from a person whom many of you know and who unfortunately cannot be here today, our dear colleague Gérard Dive, one of the founding fathers of the MLA initiative. And I will read Gérard's message in French and then translate. Nous l'avions rêvé, mais vous venez de le réaliser. Pour la justice et les victimes, soyez en remerciés.
We dreamed it,
We have dreamt it,
but you have just accomplished it. Sorry.
For justice and for the victims, accept my gratitude. Thank you.
I thank you, and I now give the floor to Mongolia. So I now give the floor to the Netherlands. Oh, yes?
Muchas gracias. Las palabras maravillosas.
Yes, thank you very much. The words of both ministers of Slovenia and of you, President of this conference, and of our representatives and friends of Argentina and in Belgium reflect the position of the Netherlands as well. We're delighted to have reached at this transcendental moment, together with so many states and with the support of civil society. We are proud to be part not just of the leading group, but also part of this great group of countries which represents all religions of the world. Together we are taking this crucial step in the fight against impunity, and we're grateful to all for their constructive attitude, in particular to our President for her leadership, to our Slovenian colleagues for their hospitality. Thank you very much. But our battle's not over, and we still have a long way ahead of us. But we must celebrate this milestone and then focus in as many countries as possible so that we can unite. It's been a long way to reach this moment. And welcome to The Hague at the beginning of 2024 then, for the signing in The Hague. Thank you very much.
And now call the Senegal to take the floor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, ministers, diplomatic representatives attending this conference. I have a few words to say on behalf of the head of the Senegalese delegation, the ambassador of Senegal to the Netherlands. First, as others have stated, I want to highlight that this is a landmark conference that will be a turning point in the history, and it will help punish the perpetrators of international crimes duly. The purpose here was to have a legal instrument for the international community that was robust enough and effective enough to effectively fight the international crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other international crimes. And with the commitment demonstrated by the delegations, we have no doubt that this objective will be attained over the next few years. Aside from this, this will have a dissuasory effect for those who might be tempted to commit these highly reprehensible acts anywhere in the world. So now we have this new instrument for the international community. We want to thank everybody who has taken part in this conference, the members of the working groups, the coordinators, the secretariat teams, the translators, the interpreters, and everybody who, in some way or another, has contributed to our success. I would also like to very sincerely thank our host state, Slovenia, for its exemplary welcome and for all of the facilities it has made available to all the delegations. I hadn't prepared a speech because I didn't realize that all the members of the core group were going to speak, but these are a few words that I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Je vous remercie, and now I invite the distinguished delegates that wish to do so to present their own statements. France.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of France, I would like to thank all of the states present, especially the members of the core group. I'd like to thank Slovenia, our host state, also the participating organizations, and you yourself, Madam President, and all of the delegations as well for this successful negotiation leading to newfound compromise solutions, including some that involved thorny issues. Each and every one of you has contributed to making the 26th of May of 2023 the day on which the very first International Convention on Legal Cooperation regarding war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, torture, enforced disappearance, and other crimes has been was adopted. Once it comes into force, this treaty will provide national authorities a universal legal reference, enabling the completion of national court proceedings. It's a great step forward for humanity. In addition to harmonizing approaches to mutual legal assistance and in criminal proceedings and extradition, this international convention becomes a common denominator in terms of defining the most heinous international crimes and the need to define them as crimes in domestic law, the conditions for jurisdiction of national jurisdictions, and the principle of aut judicare. The MLA Convention will also reinforce cooperation between national and international courts and strengthen their complementary nature, especially in terms of the International Criminal Court. France really was committed to finding constructive solutions, to find compromise solutions towards this conference. This was done in order to achieve language allowing for the greatest possible number of future ratifications in order to lead to more effective international criminal law. As you know, France always supported a very ambitious approach to this draft international convention, and we managed to achieve this today. France is very committed as well to the fight against impunity. The crimes under this convention lead to 2 trials a year, and there is one that just began on the 15th of May in the Paris Court of Assizes for crimes against humanity and genocide perpetrated outside of France. France is also currently investigating some 150 criminal cases in over 30 locations. France has chosen today to become a state party to this new convention, which will strengthen the fight against impunity. Thank you. 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。
。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 .
. 。 . 。 . .
。 . 。 . je vous remercie. And now I give the floor to Ukraine.
Thank you. I will make a statement on behalf of the head of the Ukrainian delegation, Deputy Minister Mrs. Irina Mudra. Thank you, Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, dear colleagues. It's a great honor to me to present my country in this diplomatic conference of high level. Let me start with words of gratitude to the host country, Slovenia, and its government for arranging this diplomatic conference on Convention on International Crimes here in Ljubljana. Thank you for leading the initiative for the convention together with the Netherlands, Belgium, and Argentina, Mongolia, and Senegal as a core group. Many thanks to the core group for their efforts and for the work done to give birth to the new convention. I am convinced that at such critical for the international security system time and in the face of daring challenges to the international law, we must join forces to prevent the spread of this experience. Let me appreciate the hard work and dedication of the distinguished delegations during the last 2 weeks, to extend deep esteem and congratulations to the coordinators of the working group and the drafting committee for the present perfect text, for the perfect text upon consensus achieved, and to the Secretary General and to you, Madam President, for the perfect moderation of this process. 74 years ago, the Genocide Convention and the Geneva Conventions were adopted. 25 years celebrates the Rome Statute this year. But wars and atrocities continue to rattle the earth. Nowadays, Ukraine is passing through one of the most harmful and painful experiences in its history because of unprovoked Russian aggression. There is no crime against humanity or war crimes that Russians have not committed in Ukraine. There are also evidences of the genocide of Ukrainians by Russia. Any criminal must be held to account and obliged to compensate for all damages. This convention must become one of the essential components in the comprehensive system we work on to make inevitably accountable a state aggressor, its political and military leadership, and every perpetrator in this war. The other component is envisaged are the International Criminal Court, a special tribunal for aggression, and the international compensation mechanisms. Thanks to our united efforts, we already have an international register of damages caused by aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, located in The Hague. And this is an important step to ensure that victims received fair compensation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who supported Ukraine and worked in the register of damages, and to call on those ones who still didn't join the register to take this opportunity and become a part of it. Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, dear colleagues, let me congratulate us with the successful finalization of the work on this important international instrument, the Ljubljana and Hague Convention. It's set to admit that Ukraine is going to become the first beneficiary of the new convention. I hope this new mechanism will enter into force soon and ensure that all responsible for atrocities are brought to justice, and everyone who planned to commit a crime must understand that punishment is inevitable. Everyone who suffered from a crime must be sure that the perpetrator will be brought to justice and justice will be done. Thank you.
I thank you. I now give the floor to the State of Palestine.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for your work throughout the past 2 weeks and the years before. I am delivering this statement on behalf of Ambassador Ammar Hijazi, Assistant Minister and Head of our delegation. The State of Palestine is pleased to take part of the MLA negotiations alongside other states for the first time. We thank Slovenia for its invitation and for its hospitality and warmth. Despite being the victims of impunity for decades, the Palestinian people still believe in the rule of law, continue to fight for its authority, and exemplify its indispensability. We reiterate the necessity and importance of ending impunity for international crimes, and we recognize the centrality of effective states' cooperation in accordance with international law to combat impunity and pursue justice for all without selectivity and double standards. The State of Palestine reaffirms that both inclusivity and universality of the Convention are important for its sustainability and efficacy, and most importantly, for fulfilling its purpose and objective. Stemming from this belief, the State of Palestine regrets that although other states, including Arab states and with the participation of the League of Arab States, were invited to participate, but their views and concerns were ignored, including in relation to decisive language that was meant to ensure consistency with other international treaties. We also regret that Arabic is not included as an official language and urge the core group and states parties in their first meeting to ensure its inclusion for both the text of the Convention and the modalities of the meeting. Indeed, the people of our region have been the victims of both international crimes and prolonged impunity, and they also aspire for justice. Finally, we again extend our appreciation to Slovenia for their gracious hospitality and recognize the valuable work of delegates and colleagues throughout the past 2 weeks and the years before. The State of Palestine will continue to work towards strengthening the international accountability regime and supporting initiatives leading towards this end, including this initiative. Thank you.
I thank you y doy la palabra a España.
And I give the floor to Spain.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta, señores delegados.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Delegates, the Spanish delegation welcomes the results achieved in the negotiations we conclude today. 2 weeks of hard work, which, despite the difficulties encountered, have brought to fruition something that seemed impossible at some times. The goodwill and efforts of all the participating delegations have led to the adoption of the Ljubljana, the Hague Convention. This text, thanks to a lot of work, has been significantly improved relative to the original proposal, and it addresses in detail all of the issues pursued by the core states. Spain, we now have a good framework to manage ways to prosecute atrocity crimes. Combining different possibilities. There's a complete framework that is both bilateral and multilateral to strengthen cooperation among states on matters of such importance. The results of the negotiation have also enabled us to set aside thornier issues with flexible, imaginative solutions that do not thwart the key objectives but make it possible to get broader participation. This is also the reading that must be given to the frequent references to domestic law, to agreements among the parties involved, and to other instruments of international cooperation that can make it possible to adequately implement the provisions of this convention. Our positive view on the text applies to all of the provisions it contains. The general provisions seem appropriate and particularly suitable to the aim. On the other hand, mutual legal assistance measures and provisions for extradition and transfer of sentenced persons provide suitable solutions that take into account the new possibilities of technological development without overlooking essential concerns in terms of guarantees and safeguards of rights. of persons. And the provisions regarding the rights of victims provide an excellent response to meet their ideal in terms of meeting their expectations as regards the proceedings considered here. So the Spanish delegation and all considers that the text we're adopting today offers reasonable solutions to address a challenge that is becoming even more pressing today: fighting impunity for the perpetrators of the gravest crimes and strengthening cooperation amongst the international community towards this essential objective. We trust that the outcome will be supported effectively by the participating states and lead to the treaty becoming operational soon. Thank you very much.
And now I give the floor to United Kingdom.
Madam President, distinguished delegates, I welcome the opportunity to address this conference on behalf of the Government of the United Kingdom. I begin by thanking our hosts, the Government of Slovenia, and the rest of the core group for their work organising this conference. As we meet here in Ljubljana, we do so under the shadow of events in Ukraine, with mounting reports of shocking atrocities committed as a part of Russia's illegal invasion. Only this morning, we have heard news of a Russian missile strike destroying a Ukrainian hospital, killing more innocent civilians. Accounts of brutal atrocities carried out in current conflicts and memories of those committed in the past remind us of the need for accountability and justice and the role of the international community in holding perpetrators to account. We have all felt the weight of responsibility of achieving our goal of interstate cooperation for the investigation and prosecution of the most serious international crimes. The UK's goal upon entering these negotiations was to agree a text that as many states as possible could support, one that does not disrupt existing agreements or cooperation, and one that meets our shared objectives. Negotiations have been intense, and I applaud both the organisers and negotiating teams for their work in agreeing what is a significant and legally complex text. We note the process agreed by this conference for the legal and technical review of the text adopted today, and upon leaving this conference, we will take time to review and reflect on our work here and to consider what more we can do to enhance our cooperation. The United Kingdom is proud of our domestic law, which enables and facilitates cooperation with other states in the fight against impunity in full accordance with our obligations under international law. We continue to believe that, consistent with the objective of this convention, states should exercise their jurisdiction in accordance with the principle of subsidiarity. The UK will continue to champion accountability for perpetrators of serious international crimes, and we will continue to work with our partners to ensure we are able to do so. Thank you.
I thank you and give the floor to Switzerland.
Madam President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. In my opening statement, I quoted American actress Dottie Walters, "Success is a staircase, not a doorway." The last 2 weeks illustrated this very well. We have continued climbing those stairs here in Ljubljana. We have been involved in long discussions to reach a consensus that will help us better tackle international crimes and fight impunity. After these 2 weeks, Switzerland is proud to have been part of this process and that we have reached a consensus on the text of this important convention that we have adopted today. I would like, in this closing statement, take the opportunity to once again thank you, Madam President, and the whole core group for their commitment over the last decade that led to this diplomatic conference. I especially thank for their hard work in organizing these last 2 weeks. I also warmly thank the government of Slovenia for generously hosting us in the beautiful city of Ljubljana, even tough time was was limited to see all the city has to offer due to our busy schedule. Our efforts were definitely worth it. The new Ljubljana and the Hague Convention we have adopted today gives us a strong signal of the willingness of the supporting states to improve accountability for international crimes. We are confident that this instrument will be ratified in the coming years by a large number of states and that it will facilitate international cooperation in order to reinforce the fight against impunity for the most serious crimes of concern to the international community. Thank you very much.
And now I give the floor to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Madame la Présidente de la Conférence, distinguée des
Madam President, delegates, members of the delegations. At the end of this conference, which gathered us together for nearly 2 weeks in the beautiful city of Ljubljana, the capital of the Republic of Slovenia, in order to adopt a multilateral framework to strengthen international cooperation in the investigation and prosecution of serious crimes. The delegation of the Democratic Republic of Congo once again seizes the opportunity to yet again thank the authorities of our host country for their hospitality and the security provided, without which our work would never have proceeded with full peace of mind. Our congratulations also to the President of the conference and to the rest of the Bureau for their exemplary management of our work, which has enabled a soft landing today. We also want to thank and congratulate the Secretariat, the working group coordination teams, and the drafting committee for facilitating our debates. We also want to thank all of the delegations for their regular attendance, determination, and deep commitment to this work. We have certainly taken a great step forward after many years of informal consultations, but the important work remains still ahead of us. I speak of signing, ratifying, and implementing this instrument, which fills in the gaps of conventional law and which will lead to reinforced security for us all, on the one hand, and also to a strengthening of humanity's protection mechanisms by curtailing the options allowed to the perpetrators of the crimes referred to in the Convention, depriving them of refuges or places of asylum. Now that we are about to return to our respective capitals, the Democratic Republic of the Congo hopes that all the various nations will take the necessary step to carry out, in the same spirit as the past 2 weeks, the rest of this process, leading to the enactment of this convention according to our respective internal treaty-making power procedures. Thank you very much for your attention.
Je vous remercie. Doy la palabra a Uruguay.
Thank you. The floor goes to Uruguay.
Muchas gracias, señora.
Thank you very much, Madam President.
Estimados y estimadas colegas.
Dear colleagues,
Es un honor para Uruguay ser parte
it is an honor for Uruguay to be part of this historic day in which we give birth to a key instrument to continue fighting impunity globally and tackle intelligently, globally, and flexibly the main challenges we have in this first quarter of the 21st century. Over time, we will become aware of just how huge this great step is that we have taken for the sake of all of humanity today. Beyond our individual duties that we have fulfilled here today, it's legitimate for us to be humanly moved by the achievement. Aside from the technical qualities of the text, which is the result of a consensus and compromise procedure, we have to say that this was a clearly intergovernmental approach, independent of regional or international organizations, which has brought together many countries which have focused on horizontal or cross-cutting organization. I'd like to thank the core group for spearheading the initiative, you, Madam President, for your commitment and work, the coordinating committee and the coordinators of the working groups, the Secretary General and his team, including the translators and the interpreters, of course, and also the delegations of the supporting states, the observer states, and the civil society representatives for their constructive spirit and for the fact that negotiations have been pursued in good faith. Particular thanks go to the government of Slovenia and the people of Slovenia, represented here today by the two ministers. And we thank them for their warm and hospitable welcome to the beautiful city of Ljubljana. We also thank the kingdoms of Belgium and the Netherlands for their tasks they undertake in the framework of this new convention. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
I will now give the floor to Canada.
Thank you, Madam President. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I have the honor to speak on behalf of Canada and to express Canada's strong appreciation to the core group, the Secretariat for organizing this conference, and in particular our esteemed colleagues here in Slovenia for graciously hosting us. You have brought all of us together to discuss how we can strengthen, in very practical terms, our measures for international cooperation in the investigation, prosecution of the crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other international crimes. The participation of all the supporting states, the observers, and representatives of civil society in the last 2 weeks sends a strong message that the international community is working together to advance the fight against impunity for atrocity crimes. Canada is very pleased to have been part of such a constructive group of colleagues who approached this conference with a common purpose. We have worked through many issues together to find consensus. As is frequently the case, the text of the convention is perfect for no one state, but we hope and we know that we have managed a convention that can ultimately be ratified by as many states as possible. Canada seeks to promote the effectiveness and overall coherence of international law applicable to the crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other international crimes. This strong legal framework and its practical implementation are key to the fight against impunity around the world. Thank you.
I thank you. I'll give the floor to Australia.
Thank you, Madam President. On behalf of my delegation, thank you for your excellent leadership during these negotiations over the last 2 weeks. We also thank our generous hosts, Slovenia, and other core group members for their determination to ensure the success of this initiative. Australia commends the working group coordinators and thanks all delegates for their hard work and collegiate approach to negotiations. As foreshadowed in Australia's opening statement, our objective has been to agree a text that will attract broad support and is appropriately flexible to accommodate differing legal systems. Another key priority for Australia was to develop a convention that is complementary to and which does not prejudice discussions towards a future treaty on crimes against humanity. Australia is pleased this conference was able to adopt the convention text by consensus. This is a demonstration of our united resolve to promote accountability for the most serious international crimes. We have worked well together to consider some very challenging issues in a short period of time. We note the text raises novel issues. In some instances, there are obligations which, for Australia, extend further than those under our existing instruments. Australia will therefore need to consider these proposed new obligations within our domestic framework. As a strong supporter of accountability, Australia is committed to continuing to constructively engage on this important initiative. We look forward to working with colleagues here and with the international community more broadly in pursuit of our shared objective of holding accountable those responsible for the most serious international crimes. Thank you very much.
I now give the floor to Bulgaria.
Madam President, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we are all gathered here in this beautiful town of Ljubljana to contribute to the fight against impunity through creating a new milestone of the international legal order by this MLA Convention for the most serious international crimes. Joining this initiative back in 2017, Bulgaria was and still is concerned about the gravity posed by the impunity to the stability and security of societies, undermining the institutions and values of democracy and justice, jeopardizing sustainable development and the rule of law. We extend our gratitude to the host country, Slovenia, and to the member states of the core group. We would like to thank as well the President, the members of the drafting committee, and the coordinators to their dedicated work, leadership, and professionalism. Last but not least, we would like to commend the efforts made by all delegations present at the conference. Bulgaria shares the view that this convention will considerably contribute to the accountability, justice, and peace worldwide. Thank you.
And now I give the floor to the last speaker on our list, Benin.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Dear delegates, the delegation of Benin is delighted to be part of the privileged witnesses to this highly historic event. Indeed, this diplomatic conference ends an ambitious initiative launched by a group of countries to remedy the shortcomings in the multilateral legal framework in terms of international judicial cooperation, specifically as regards prosecuting the most serious crimes under humanitarian law and international human rights law. Now, we have no doubt that as to the great role that the Convention could play in terms of fighting impunity links to we of imperative rules under international law. That's why we didn't hesitate in lending our full support to this process. And we hope that there will be universal participation in this, and whether this will mean the broadest possible ratification. My delegation would like to thank the organizers of this conference for all of the efforts made in order to lead it to a successful conclusion, and expresses its gratitude to the host state, Republic of Slovenia, for the amenities made available in order to facilitate the sound conduct of our work, and congratulates all delegations for their valuable contributions, as well as for their willingness to achieve consensus. And it greets in particular the President, who has conducted the work with firmness and skill, without forgetting all the other stakeholders for their respective contributions to the success of this conference. Thank you very much.
Je vous remercie. And
thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me join the thanks to Slovenia for the kind hospitality, and to you, Madam President, and the whole team for your hard work. The OLC strongly condemns genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, and calls all the members of the international community to adopt effective measures to ensure their prevention and punishment. In that context, we welcome the adoption of the new Ljubljana The Hague Convention. My delegation also wishes to underscore the need to ensure the equality between women and men and respect the inherent dignity and worth of all women and girls, as foreseen in the preamble of the UN Charter of the United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Since the Convention utilizes the term gender, my delegation notes that the only agreed definition of that term is the one contained in Article 7.3 of Statute of the International Criminal Court, which is of particular relevance in this context, considering the intrinsic link between the new convention and the Rome Statute. Therefore, my delegation declares that, in its view, Articles 2.2.h, 27.1a, 45.1a, and 57.5 must be interpreted in light of the definition contained in Article 7.3 of the Rome Statute. I would be grateful if this statement is included in the official records of this conference. Thank you.
I thank you. And we have now concluded the list of speakers. I would now like to give the floor to the Secretary General of this conference. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Dear friends, and after 2 weeks, I can say, dear friends. First, let me thank you for the words of appreciation to me, my team, and Slovenia. Before I close this diplomatic conference, let me thank you for reminding us why we gathered here. We gathered here in a historic moment to close the legal gap, to close the space for perpetrators of atrocity crimes. Adoption of the Ljubljana The Hague Convention is a landmark achievement, and I think in years we will recognize its importance. This would not be possible without you, without many dedicated persons involved in this process. This was not the process only of these 2 weeks, but a decade-long process of the core group preparing for this convention. There are no words that I can express in this respect, but let me try. Let me first wholeheartedly thank to you, Madam President, the two associates, Chief Legal Advisor, to you, Special Legal Advisor, really many, many thanks. And of course, yeah, I think you deserve applause. Then let me thank the chair of the drafting committee, the chair of the credentials committee, the vice presidents. Well, I think we need to applaud each round for all of them. Then I would like to applaud our three coordinators, Erika Lucero, Vajos Kotrulis, Mateusz Pezdirc, who really extremely skillfully conducted negotiations on the parts of convention. But of course, the huge thank goes to you, dear delegates. You have been negotiating this convention with unprecedented dedication, with a clear goal to bring this process to a successful conclusion. And you have succeeded. So I haven't seen such a good spirit and such intention to help each other, to listen to each other, and accommodate the views, the positions of the others in such a way at this conference. So really, thanks a lot. And of course, all this would not be possible without dedicated individuals working in the backstage. My colleagues, also the interns engaged for this conference in the Secretariat, have been working 24/7, and I think have shown the most degree of professionalism with a view to provide timely documents, information, and the logistical arrangements that allowed for a swift negotiation process. Let me invite them here to the podium, that they would be seen and that we can applaud them. So please do approach, come here. And they're up there on the balcony. Of course, we should also deeply thank the interpreters and translators who have been with us whenever needed and accommodating all of our requests. Thank you. Last but not least, we should thank also the technicians for IT service, the sound system, hotel staff, and the excellent food provided throughout the conference that allowed us to fully concentrate to negotiations. Thank you. And there are also so many others that are not here today. However, they have been deeply involved in this process in previous years and contributed to the adoption of the convention, like Gerard Yves, that his words we heard before. Thank you also to them. And with that, I think I can close the diplomatic conference in Ljubljana. Thank you.